The sound of roaring engines filled the small, dusty town of Ironclad as the evening sun painted the sky in orange and gold. The ironclad bar sat at the edge of the road like a fortress, its sign swaying slightly in the warm breeze. Inside, a group of bikers, tattooed, rough-looking, and feared by most, laughed loudly over cold beers and the smell of oil and smoke. To the locals, they were trouble. To strangers, they were danger on two wheels. But that evening, fate was about to reveal a truth no one ever expected about these men and women in black leather. Because that was the day a little girl came running, barefoot, breathless, and crying, for her life. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of humanity to surprise us in the most unexpected ways, then please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel for more true and heart-touching stories that remind us of the good still left in this world. The girl couldn't have been more than 8 years old. Her hair was tangled, her clothes torn, and her eyes wide with a terror that only real pain could cause. She stumbled into the middle of the road, tears streaking down her dusty cheeks. Her small voice cracked as she screamed, "Help me! Please, someone help me!" Behind her, a man appeared, tall, disheveled, his white tank top smeared with blood and dirt. His steps were heavy, unsteady, but determined. Inside the bar, a biker named Grizzly, known for his shaved head, thick beard, and a past full of violence, was the first to notice. He had seen a lot in his life: bar fights, car crashes, even men dying on the side of the road. But nothing pierced him like the sight of that little girl running in pure fear. Without a word, he stood up so fast his chair fell backward and stormed out, his boots thudding against the pavement. The other bikers, Raven, Snake, and Diesel, followed close behind. The girl tripped just a few feet away from them, scraping her knees, but she kept crawling, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. "He's gonna hurt me! Please don't let him get me!" she cried. The man behind her slowed, his chest rising and falling rapidly. The bikers froze for a moment, unsure what they were seeing. Grizzly's instincts screamed to act, but years of being misunderstood had made him cautious. He raised a hand, signaling the others to wait. Then he knelt down to the girl's level, his voice rough but soft enough to calm her. "Hey, kid, you're safe now. Nobody's gonna hurt you, all right?" The man, clearly drunk or worse, finally reached shouting distance. His voice slurred as he yelled, "That's my kid! She ran off again!" But even from a distance, something didn't feel right. His tone wasn't that of a desperate father. It was full of rage, not concern. His clothes were smeared with more than just dirt. There were bloodstains that made the bikers tense instantly. Raven, the only woman in the group, took one look at the girl's bruised arms and stepped forward with fire in her eyes. "She's not going anywhere with you," she said coldly. The man staggered forward. "She's mine!" he barked. "Mind your own damn business!" But Ironclad wasn't the kind of place where people turned away from someone in need, not anymore. Not after what these bikers had been through. Grizzly clenched his jaw and stood up slowly, his shadow towering over the trembling man. "You better back up, brother," he growled. "You smell like trouble, and we don't let trouble near kids." The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. The man's face twisted in anger, but when he saw the 4 bikers stepping between him and the child, his courage wavered. He spat on the ground and muttered, "You'll regret this," before stumbling backward toward his rusted car and speeding off down the street. The little girl's sobs echoed in the sudden silence. Raven knelt beside her, gently brushing hair out of her face. "Hey, sweetheart, what's your name?" she asked softly. The girl hiccuped between tears. "Lila," she whispered. "He's not my daddy. He hurt my mommy. I ran when he went after her." The bikers exchanged looks, their faces hardening. Diesel, who rarely spoke, muttered under his breath, "We gotta call the cops." But Grizzly knew better. He'd seen how slow the law could move in a town like theirs, and if that man was dangerous, every second counted. They brought Lila inside the bar, wrapping her in a blanket and giving her water. The tough-looking men around her suddenly turned gentle, their voices low and their movements careful. Lila clung to Raven's denim jacket like it was her only safe place in the world. For the first time in years, the ironclad bar, known for brawls and chaos, was silent. Everyone was just human. When the police finally arrived, they found out Lila's mother had been taken to the hospital, badly injured but alive. The man, her abusive stepfather, had fled. The officers promised they'd find him, but days passed and nothing happened. That didn't sit right with the ironclad crew. Grizzly gathered his brothers and sister in arms one night. "If that animal's still out there, we find him first," he said. They weren't saints, but there were lines even the roughest souls couldn't watch someone cross. Over the next few days, they used the same street instincts that once got them in trouble to do something good for once. They asked around quietly. Truckers, bar owners, anyone who might have seen a beat-up blue pickup heading out of town. It wasn't long before Snake got a lead. A guy matching the stepfather's description was hiding in an abandoned shack just outside the county line. Grizzly's old anger flared up, but this time it was fueled by something pure, a need to protect. They rode out under the dark sky, engines thundering like justice itself. When they found the shack, the man tried to run, but he didn't get far. Grizzly grabbed him by the collar, his massive hand shaking with rage. "You! Put your hands on a kid and her mom," he growled, eyes burning. "You ever touch them again, you'll answer to us before the cops." By the time they handed him over to the police, the biker's reputation in Ironclad began to shift. For years, people had whispered that they were criminals, that the Ironclad bar was a den of outlaws. But when the story spread of how a gang of rough bikers had saved a little girl from a monster, it changed everything. The townspeople began to see them differently. They weren't angels, but maybe that was what made their act of kindness even more powerful, because it proved that goodness doesn't always wear a white shirt. It can wear leather, carry scars, and still have the biggest heart of all. As weeks passed, Lila's mother recovered. She visited the Ironclad bar one afternoon, holding Lila's hand. She looked fragile but grateful. With tears in her eyes, she said, "I don't know how to thank you." Grizzly, awkward and emotional, scratched his beard. "You already did, ma'am," he said softly. She's smiling again. "That's all the thanks we need." Lila ran to hug him, wrapping her tiny arms around his massive frame. Something inside him broke open then, years of anger, guilt, and loneliness melting into something lighter. He had been a man who thought redemption wasn't for people like him. But in that moment, holding a child who saw him as a hero, Grizzly realized that maybe even broken men could build something good again. From that day on, the Ironclad bar wasn't just a biker hangout. It became a symbol of unexpected hope. They started a small charity, helping abused kids, raising money for shelters, fixing bikes for free for single parents. People began to stop judging and started joining. And every now and then, a little girl named Lila would show up, smiling and running straight into the arms of the roughest men in town, because she knew they were her protectors. Years later, when Grizzly retired his bike, he said something to a local reporter that would stay with everyone who heard it. "You can't change your past," he said, "but you can decide what kind of man you'll be when someone else needs help." That little girl didn't just change her life that day, she changed ours. So the next time you see someone who looks tough, rough, or different, remember this story. Because sometimes the people we fear the most are the ones who carry the deepest wounds and the greatest capacity for kindness. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who still believes in second chances, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that prove hope can come from the most unexpected places. Before we end, comment below. Do you believe people can truly change? I'd love to hear your thoughts.